Are you making a New Year's resolution to shrink your carbon footprint in 2023? Well, two people who have kept track of theirs tell KSL's Peter Rosen that you can make it very smaller, but how small depends in part on how you count your carbon.
Seems just about everything you do, everywhere you go, say to talk to a guy about greenhouse gases, makes greenhouse gases. And it all adds up. And Tom Moyer can tell you what it adds up to, because he's been accounting for his carbon impact to try to zero it out.
What does it look like to truly live a zero emissions life? Okay, let's work on it one step at a time.
Leaked refrigerants, food waste that rots and makes methane, a propane heater, and flying.
Flights are actually a pretty significant piece of your carbon footprint.
And of course, driving and running his home.
I mean, when I emailed you,
Right.
there was a carbon footprint.
Right.
When I called you, there was a carbon footprint. Just about everything has an impact.
I mean, those things individually are too small to worry about. But, you know, the big things are your car, heating and air conditioning for your house.
To compensate for flying, he buys credits from companies that actually take carbon dioxide out of the air.
Oh, it's insanely expensive. I would not recommend it.
Solar panels charge his electric car and run his house, which, with a heat pump and lots of insulation, draws relatively little power. And his carbon footprint?
We're at zero.
At zero.
At zero. We don't have, for our direct household carbon footprint, we don't have one.
Moyer does not count embedded carbon, the greenhouse gas it takes to make something, get it to you, maintain, and get rid of it, because, he says, it's out of his control. But Canadian author-architect Lloyd Alter did, when he attempted to limit his annual footprint to 2.5 metric tons of CO2.
Driving is the one thing that can absolutely kill you on this thing. If you have to drive a car, you can't do it.
He says he made it work only with public transportation and an e-bike.
It's a lifestyle that's much easier if you're a nice, moderately wealthy, middle-class person living in a streetcar suburb who works from home.
Carbon footprinting gets a bad rap because it encourages people to believe the main way they can affect their carbon footprint is just to consume less. And that turns out to be a terrible political message and a completely ineffective strategy, right? That's not how we're going to solve the problem.
Moyer says the solution lies in not doing without, but rather doing with cleaner energy. That, he says, doesn't have to cost extra, like his home. The bigger mortgage for the efficiency, he says, is offset by lower utility bills.
What we did turns out almost exactly even. It's no net change in our monthly expenses.
Did you know that going into it?
No, I did not.
He says it could all add up to a cleaner, affordable future. Peter Rosen, KSL 5 News.